And the boys, they seem to spend hours in completely useless activity. That combination of new lung power, changed voices, and boundless energy is hard on the neighbors. They quarrel a lot, but the gang sticks together. They want to prove their own importance by making themselves heard.
Hey, this is Jeff,
This is Seth.
And this is Kendrick.
and you're listening to A Blast from the Past podcast.
Hello to you listeners. My name is Seth. Today we are here to talk about the 4 of Mount Rushmore horror films.
Oh man, this is gonna be an awesome episode, man. This is the best of the scariest films we can come up with, right? So mine's gonna be going way back. I'm sure yours won't go as back as far as mine, but I am super excited about this. I can't wait to do this. So tonight we've got just myself and we got Seth with us tonight. So Mr. Kendrick, I think he's a little scared. I think he's a little scared of these horror films.
Yeah.
He didn't want to be a part of this one. He says he's not much of a horror guy. So it is what it is. So the rest of me and Seth, we're going to go at it. I'm not much of a fan for horror films either, by the way. I'm not going to lie to you. I was scared to watch a lot of the films. And I think, maybe it's my upbringing, but I got to the point where I stopped watching scary films when I was about, I'd say probably 14. I just stopped watching it one day. I just didn't want to watch anymore because it just felt so, like, anytime I watched something, I felt so negative. Like, oh my God, this could happen to me. I was always constantly getting scared about it, right? So that's one of the reasons why I personally stopped watching scary movies. So my movies go way back. I don't really have any recent movies that I've watched that are scary because I'm like, I got time for that shit. So I don't really watch anything now. Now with you, Seth, you kind of love scary movies. Am I right or am I wrong?
You're right. I really love scary movies.
Where did you get that from?
I don't know. I just started watching them since I was a kid. I was scared of them at first, but then as I grew up, I just learned that the monsters aren't real, so I stopped hiding under my bed.
Are you sure you just learned that? Because sometimes you get a little antsy. I mean, and I'm going to tell a little quick story real quick. While we were preparing for this podcast, Seth is looking around because he swears he's hearing ghosts or something around him. So
Yeah, I heard something. I heard a thump, and I turned around. Nothing was there. Door was unlocked. I made sure it was locked.
all right, well, that's the reason why I don't watch scary movies. But anyhow, well, Seth, we're going to let you start out with the very first one. So we're going to set the stage a little bit. This is 1996 for our listeners. I wonder if you guys can guess what film he's thinking about. This is one that set the stage for many series to come. So, Seth, what was your number one on your Mount Rushmore?
My number one has to be Scream.
Scream. Mm-hmm. All right, so why did you like Scream so much?
That's really the first movie. Well, probably not the first one, but the first one that really got me into horror films and also like horror games and all that other stuff. With that, there was a lot of gore, murder, and also plot twists.
Yeah, it was kind of fun. And what's funny about that series is they actually look at all the parodies they made from that film, right? Because it was such an iconic part of, well, first of all, we'd never had anything like that.
Yeah.
Like using a telephone, like calling somebody and be like, hey, I see you. Like that's a whole other dimension to scary movies. So I definitely, so how many Screams are there now? Do you have any idea?
I have no idea, honestly.
I know there's a bunch.
Yeah, this is like newest one, possibly.
Like Scream 74 or something like that. I don't know.
Probably, I don't know.
It's like the Now music series. Now 1, and I think we're on like Now 99 or something like that. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, Scream's like the Now version for horror films. But yeah, I wonder. I wonder if do you think they'll make a new version of this at one point? Like it'd start over the whole concept and it'll be different?
Yeah, I think they actually did. They're up to number 8 right now, I believe. They started off
that's
with
that's a lot of them.
Yeah, they started off with the reboot on number 5, I believe, and now they're up to number 8, and they ended it.
Man, I mean, it's a good series, but it's one of those ones that you can only call a person and tell them you're going to kill them so many times.
Yeah.
Right? Like eventually it's got to be a different technique. Maybe they'll quit making parodies of it. So
Yeah.
all right, so it's my turn. So my number one scariest movie, no lie, is going to be taking you back to 1999, to the Blair Witch Project. Now, Seth, do you know anything about the Blair Witch Project?
Yeah, I actually seen the movie. It's
So the
pretty
original
good.
movie?
Yeah, original. Yeah.
Okay. Because I know they made a new version of it.
Mm-hmm.
And this movie was so freaking scary to me. Only because I watching it felt like, first of all, watched it at a theater. All right. So it's not like I had it at home and watched it on VHS.
Yeah.
I watched it at the theater with a whole bunch of other people, and everybody else is scared shitless too.
Mm-hmm.
So there's literally people screaming. You ever been in a theater and people scream while they're watching something?
No.
So it's literally that kind of atmosphere watching this movie. So I'm already kind of on edge with everybody else screaming.
Mm-hmm.
Now watching this film, it legitimately felt like I'm really watching these people do their thing. Like this is literally like somebody had found a camcorder in the middle of the damn woods, and I feel like this really could have happened. And I'm like, the whole time I'm watching it, I'm trying to figure it out. I'm like, why the hell is somebody standing in a corner?
Yeah.
And then why is the other people in the corner? Like you're following along the story, but it's like it's different. It's so unique. I'd never seen it was so, and it's crazy because I want to talk about the budget of the film. Right? So the budget of this film was around $75,000. $75,000. It ended up costing around between $300,000 and $500,000 is what I think I read somewhere that it cost. So $500,000 after all the productions and all the edits and cuts. Guess how much this movie grossed worldwide? Less than $1 million to make the film. That includes paying everybody, the whole thing. The film made $250 million. $250 million because it looked so, and it's almost, and it was an independent film, so it wasn't like some, it wasn't a great big, it wasn't a great big company that was creating this that had a bunch of money behind it. It wasn't like a Disney picture or a Miramax or anything like that. It's legit just a group of individuals that came together with a really good, unique storyline and created this film. So to me, that's going to be my number one. My number one, Blair Witch Project. If you have not seen it, you probably should. Now, they recreated it and did another version of it, which it wasn't as good. And I know that I don't think I watched the second one because the first one scared the shit out of me. The second one, I was told that it was not nearly as good. So, there's that. But anyhow, I mean, that's going to be my number one. So, Seth, let's go back to you. What is your number two Mount Rushmore horror film?
My number two, it really depended on which one I was going to choose, but for me, number two is Jeepers Creepers.
Oh, Jeepers
Creepers. Where'd you get those?
Oh, man, that was
creepers?
I remember watching that with you, and I remember thinking to myself, maybe we should be watching this with him. But it was one of those films that, at first glance, I didn't think it was going to be too scary.
Yeah.
Because it really, I don't know, like the scarecrow, the whole thing. I mean, what do you feel that was scary about it?
Majority of
What
it
made
was
you go, oh my God, this is kind of scary?
basically when the creeper, I think that's what it is,
Yeah.
the creeper.
Yeah.
He was riding in that big truck or
Right.
whatever it was.
Flying around and
And he was like, trying to like kill him
Yeah.
and run off the road and everything.
He
And
must have
also-
been from Florida because they do
Probably.
that shit in Florida. Like,
I think
you
that's
can't-
when it was placed. When it
yeah,
was placed at.
probably. You-
And I like the end of the movie. The reason why it's called Jeepers Creepers is he steals like other people's body parts and eats them, and it becomes part of his body.
that is messed up.
Yeah,
That's so gross.
and it's not like
Now, it
it's
doesn't.
like
What's crazy though is it doesn't ever show you. He doesn't eat. Like, you don't see him eating anything, right?
you do.
You do.
Not like face to face, but you can
Right.
like you see
Like
him
you-
like,
like-
bent, hunched over eating
Oh,
some
okay.
stuff. But in the second movie,
Somebody's guts.
head, arm, everything.
That's gross.
But in the second movie, it does show him. like,
Yeah,
eat
I mean,
them.
yeah, no thanks. And they made a couple of those, right? They're on at least
number 3.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So, and have you seen them all?
yeah.
And all of them still right up there with the first one, or do you feel like it's getting worse or better? Or
It's like a love-hate relationship with those movies. Was the second and third one. Second one was great, but didn't hold up to the first one. And then the third one was just really weird. I didn't really understand it until the end of it. I was like, Okay.
So do you remember how many? Like he has to go for so many years, right, before he comes back and does his thing.
Mm-hmm.
How many years is it? Do you remember?
No, I believe it's 25 years or something close
Okay,
to that.
so I mean, if that's the case, damn, like that's a long time to be going without eating, right? Like that's a long time. So this this is almost looking in the future as far as films go. It's like 25 years again, 25. That's 75-year period span.
Well, actually, no, because what it is the first movie is, I'm not sure exactly when he was born or whatever, but first movie, he ate the people. And then the second movie is supposed to be in the future, and then he eats like high school kids. And then in the third movie, it's actually in the middle of the first and second. So it's like a prequel to the third, but a sequel to the first.
That's weird.
Yeah. Okay. That's why I didn't like it.
All right, well, back to me. So I'm going to say the next one I've got is definitely one that not only has this kind of scared me, but let's just put it this way. I have a nephew that will absolutely refuse to go to any birthday parties if he doesn't know the individual. Because if there's a clown there, he's like, nope, hell no.
Mm-hmm.
And my number 2 is going to be It. Not the new It that just came out, but like the It from 1990, the television series by Stephen King. So I didn't get to watch this. I didn't get to watch this until I think probably, I'd say 1997, 1996, because I remember not wanting to watch it because I was told it was really scary. But then my mom, for whatever reason, because it came on every year, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
It came on every single year around the same time. And every year my mom would be like, I'm going to watch this. And I remember finally just one time coming in, sitting down, because I really didn't know what it was. And I remember recognizing one of the actors in it. He played John Boy from the Waltons, which for those of you listeners that are listening right now that are old school like myself, you know what the Waltons were. Seth, you have no idea who Waltons are, do you?
Nope.
Okay, so I'm not. That's a whole other time. But John Boy was in this film, and I'm like, what is this movie and why is he in it? And then Mom didn't say anything about what this film was. I started watching it and then slowly kind of dug into it because you really don't see the crazy parts until about middle way. And I remember watching it with her, and at the end of the whole time it's like a car wreck. Like when you go through and you see a car wreck, like you want to like not look, but at the same time you kind of want to look. And that's what I did with this movie. So I watched it all the way through. And then they had the second day series of it. And long story short, I watched it all the way through, and I probably will never watch it again because it scared the hell out of me that much. Not as much as it did my nephew. Like, it hasn't ruined my life where I can't go to a kid's birthday party, right? I can do that at least, but not definitely one I would recommend to any child.
Yeah.
So, sorry, nephew. That's going to leave it at that. All right, so we'll go back to you. What is your number 3 on Mount Rushmore horror films?
My number 3 would have to be Hell House.
Okay, I don't think I know anything about this. So explain this whole kind of scenario to me. What is Hell House?
So it's kind of like the princess of what you said, Blair Witch Project, where they do like the camera and they film everything.
Like where they're running and stuff, and like you see,
like ghosts.
I mean,
and all that
it's
stuff.
like realistic stuff. But that was like today we have
GoPros
and things like that, but they didn't have that stuff back then.
Yeah.
So it was a little different. It's like reality TV, but I didn't know what reality TV was. I didn't know what that was. So that was the first kind of concept. So that's the way Hell House is.
Yeah. Well, basically what it is the premises of it is they're going to clean up a hotel, I think it is, or a house, and turn it into a, what is it called? Horror house?
Like a haunted house?
Haunted house, that's what it's called.
Oh.
And with that, they find these really creepy dolls and these huge lifelike dolls also. It's like a clown. I forgot what the other one, I think a werewolf. and they soon find out that, excuse me, that the house is actually haunted, or maybe it's the hotel. Hotel's haunted, and there's like 4 or 5 movies in the series, and towards the end of it, they actually open it up, and the ghosts get mad and start killing people else in there. But at the very, very beginning of it, it shows the people recording going into the haunted house, and then it goes up to, or builds up to what the original people that opened it did, and goes to the very beginning, and that's the ending of it.
Yeah, I don't think I could watch that either. I ain't gonna lie. Okay.
It's one of my favorite movies.
Forget all that. Where the hell did you find that movie? Like, it's not like it's sitting in my house. So where did you find this movie?
YouTube.
What was you doing when you looked this shit up?
I looked up top 10 horror movies I should watch if I'm related to horror movies, and
Wow.
Hell House was one of them.
Okay, so that came up on somebody else's suggestion list for you.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you, YouTube, for almost ruining my kid's childhood. But anyway, okay, cool. So, all right, so back to me. So my third one is actually it's a classic. So, I mean, it was one of the best ones out there. And when we talk about setting the stage for multiple variations of horror films, my number 3 of the Mount Rushmore is going to be Nightmare on Elm Street, Freddy Krueger. Not the very first one. We're talking 1984 Freddy, right? The original one. Now, what was scary about this film is I remember seeing the scene where they're in the bedroom, right? And the boy and the girl's in the bedroom, and the girl's like moving around in the bed, and you know, everybody's supposed to be sleeping or whatever.
Yeah.
But she's moving around in the bed, and all of a sudden she starts twirling in the bed, and then she's like fighting with something because, you know, Freddy's like fighting with her or whatever. And all of a sudden she starts levitating off the bed. Now, at this point, I'm watching this and I'm like, no.
Yeah.
I'm done. I'm done with this. I'm not watching it. Of course, I watched it just a little bit longer. It was one of those films that I walked in, and I'm pretty sure my brother was watching the film. It's not like I sat down and wanted to watch this. He had a friend over, and he's watching this. He's much older than I am, but he's watching this film with his friend, and I'm walking in and out. And I remember specifically coming in, sitting down, watching for a few minutes, getting scared, and leaving, but then being stupid and coming back. And watching a little bit more. So I didn't watch it all the way through. Now, I will say that recently I rewatched it. I think it was last year, right before Halloween. I rewatched it, and it wasn't too bad. But originally, as a kid, I want to say I was probably, I mean, it was probably late 80s, not mid 80s. I mean, it had been out for a while. Obviously, it had been, you know, we had a place up there in Huntingburg, Indiana. Big shout out to Huntingburg. That Huntingburg, Indiana had a little bitty video store there called Budget Video. And that's where me and my brother we would literally in walking distance, we would walk up there, we could rent movies. And dude, they was so cool. Like, you didn't have to be 17 to rent a rated R movie.
Really?
Like, they didn't give a shit. Like, they would just, you walk in, you pay them a couple bucks, and they smile, they look out the way, and you done, you got your movie. Now, getting the movie in stock is a whole other story. But if they had a movie, they didn't care. They were pretty cool about it. No. But that was one of the films I think he had rented. And I, again, walked in and out a couple times, and it is what it is. It was a very scary experience, but at the same time, look how iconic Freddy is now.
Yeah.
You've got so many variations of that. You've even got him, like, I would have to say it's probably the top 10. It's the top 10 costumes purchased every single year for Halloween. It has to be. And then that iconic red and black sweater is everywhere. It's everywhere. And now you got, you know, pop vinyls with him and all this other stuff. So, I mean, it's definitely a pop culture icon. And I think that was definitely my favorite number 3. So, all right. So we're going to go back to Seth. Your number 4. To level out the Mount Rushmore, what's your number 4 horror flick?
Okay, you guys probably know I've heard of this movie before, but it's part of a whole series. The movie I'm going to talk about right now is called Bad Ben.
Bad Ben. Okay, so yeah, I have no idea what this is, where it's from. Give me a quick synopsis of what this movie is about.
So right now it's actually on Amazon. What it basically is this dude, he purchases a home from an auction. He goes there, tries to refurbish it and sell it on the market so he can get more money.
Right, so flipping it.
Yeah,
So
flipping the house.
okay,
Yeah.
Okay.
So he goes there and he like starts looking at all this stuff. There's like the religious crosses, books, everything there. He starts throwing it away, but he's not really religious.
Right.
And he then begins to have poltergeist stuff or paranormal stuff happen to him. And he finds this picture in the book he threw away, the Bible, and it shows the picture of like this wife, husband, and a little boy called Ben, and another like demon boy called Bad Ben.
Okay.
And that's basically what it's about.
So they're twins, you think?
Not twin. He's a demon.
The Bad Ben is a demon.
Yeah, he like has wings. He can fly.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's cool.
Hell to no.
It's also there's cameras in the house, so you can see.
Now, is it framed like the other films that we're talking about, or is it like just a straight movie? Like is it like somebody recording it, or is it like legit just a regular movie?
Like someone recording it, but it's not. It's not like what's it called, Blair Witch, where they have the camcorder on their face. It's like
it's not like
on. It's security cameras.
Security. Okay, so it's like a UFO kind of security camera kind of stuff.
Yeah, there's like security cameras all around the house, in the backyard, everything.
That sounds like very interesting. I mean, yeah, if you're definitely into some weird shit with demons, that's definitely, I guess that could be up your list there. All right, man. Well, my fourth and final to level out my Mount Rushmore of horror films is going to be, well, I mean, again, going back to the classic, again, like I said in the beginning of the podcast, I am not really a horror film kind of guy. I don't watch that stuff as an adult for sure. As a kid, one of those shows that we were pretty much bullied into watching was Poltergeist. Poltergeist. That is where the little girl is literally in front of this little TV. And if you haven't seen this yet, and I think they remade it, just like they do everything else in Hollywood.
Yeah, I think so.
It's been remade. But if you watch the original, it was the old lady, the short old lady, scared the absolute bejesus out of me.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember the little girl was so cute, little girl. She's putting her hands on the TV, and she's like, "They're here." Like it was the scariest damn thing. I'm like, a little kid shouldn't be talking like that. And all of a sudden, she's talking to somebody, and they're like, "Come here," and she's like, walks and goes to the TV, and it's like, "Good, done, gone."
Yeah.
And then somewhere I remember that she's in a closet, and like it's just a weird movie, but definitely one that. It hits my list of 4 for sure. Because, I mean, it scared the hell out of me then, and it still kind of scares me a little bit now because I'm like, man, and the whole idea behind that, and it's crazy, is they built the house. They built a whole subdivision on top of sacred ground.
Yeah, so like there's ghosts and demons.
These are all, they're all trying to get to the other world, so to speak.
Our world.
And they're literally, hundreds of graves that they built these houses on top, and they were told many times not to build stuff there, but they did it anyway. I think there was Indian ancestry. Like there's a whole bunch of extra stuff, but that was the whole premise behind it. It was very, very good for what it did. It also spawned like a couple of them. I think it did 3 or 4 Poltergeist movies, and then obviously they redid the new one not too long ago. So, I mean, in reality, I think it did what it was supposed to do.
Yeah.
As far as that goes. So, well, I mean that pretty much concludes it, man. Like, so we went through the top 4, and I mean, I think if you're listening right now, if you haven't seen any of those 8 movies, I think you should take a moment and get yourself and get an opportunity to go watch one, get the hell scared out of you, and then you can agree or disagree with us. But we hope you guys enjoyed the podcast this evening, and we will talk to you guys soon. I hope you enjoyed this broadcast of A Blast from the Past podcast, brought to you by Decades Music and Entertainment. The views expressed in this podcast are merely of those of the interviewee and the interviewers. Viewer discretion is advised.